Здравствуйте, я Сара Дубовис, и вы на женском каббалистическом канале «Чего хотят женщины». Сегодня у нас вторая встреча с Яэль Ярдени, ведущим каббалистическим астрологом. Hi, Yael.
Hi.
It's a pleasure to have you again.
Pleasure to be here again.
And I'm going to ask you about water signs. Yael, it's almost end of the March. So it's in conventional astrology, it's the beginning of a month of Aries. But in Kabbalistic astrology, it's still Pisces. Can you explain that?
How could it be? This is the mystery of the hybrid calendar, which we have. Actually, this year, 2019, we are blessed with 2 months of Pisces. It's one of the 7 times in 19 years that we have a year with 13 months instead of 12. You see, Kabbalistic astrology, it's kind of magical. There are all kinds of months that are added. Sure. So we are still actually in the 2nd month of Pisces, which, as you know, is water. And we have an additional blessing because it's also the equinox. You know, on the 21st of March, it's also going to be the equinox, which is the beginning of the season of spring. So we have altogether like a lot of blessings going on in this month.
Amazing. And, well, it's almost over, but still we're going to have Pisces next year, another year, maybe a few things about this month in particular, month of Pisces.
So the month of Pisces is very, very special Kabbalistically. One, because it's the last of all the months. It's the last. So it's the result, if you will, of all the year. And when we take a look at the motto of the month of Pisces, the motto is, I believe. The soul, if you will, Kabbalistically, is going to reincarnate in all the signs of the zodiac to finally come into the sign of Pisces and understand that the ego is done, that the ego doesn't work. All the rest of the 11 signs of the zodiac have different type of ego. When we come in the month of Pisces, under the sign of Pisces, or even for all of us that are not Pisces, but we live in this month, we get the final straw against our ego. We get the final understanding that everything has to be universal. And that's the secret of the month of Pisces.
So besides Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, it's also water signs. So maybe you can give us some general characteristics of the all water month.
Sure. So I heard personally from our teacher, the Rav, that water is the most spiritual of all the signs of the zodiac. The spiritual potential is always the strongest in water. And why is it always the strongest in water? Because water has a memory. Water can absorb. And the water signs are no different. If a soul chooses to come under a water sign, it's a soul that has understood that it needs to read other people. It has understood that without intuition, nothing can ever happen in our life. That all the most important decisions that we make have to be based on what we call the hunch or the message from the depths of the soul. And that's something that is very common to all the signs of water. They can read people. They can feel situations, even if it's completely illogical. Their language is very different. It's a bit of the alien in a way of, all the mankind because they have a completely different language.
It's interesting that you said that the soul chooses its sign, and maybe in the future we can meet and talk about it in particular because
Sure.
reincarnation is a huge topic.
Absolutely.
And it's absolutely mystical, and I know women love this stuff. Woman water. We're talking about woman of the sign of water or woman in the months of water, because as far as I understand that every water month, even if I'm not water sign, I still get some characteristic of the water sign. So what can you tell us about woman water?
Good. So just to tell you one thing before, we have to know that we are all made of the 12 signs of the zodiac. In an astrological natal chart, the 12 signs of the zodiac and the 12 astrological houses are represented. Therefore, when any person enters a water month, the water in them gets activated. Okay? It's like pushing a button which already exists. So the water being activated, we start, activating, as I mentioned before, all the intuition, all the different ways to read.
Emotions.
So now, emotions, exactly. So women of water
Drama.
signs, it's definitely drama. It's definitely a little bit too much, I would say, too sharp in feelings. Women of water, it's 20,000 leagues under the sea. Because women are already more intuitive. You add the component of water to women and they become half psychic. Okay. Women of water are definitely half psychic. And it's interesting because oftentimes they choose sacrifice. This is the type of souls, female souls, that for them it's very easy to sacrifice themselves for other people. The water understand they have to share. They just sometimes don't understand boundaries. Do you find any boundaries in the sea? Forget it. How can you determine, when passing the waters of one country to another country, right in the middle of the ocean? And boundaries is one of the hardest tikkun, hardest karma of all water signs, but particularly female water, because they are constantly trying to fix everybody, help everyone, and the family and the neighbors and the world to the expense of their own self. And then what happened as a result? They, all of a sudden turn incredibly selfish without understanding why. But that's because they didn't receive. Mm-hmm. They completely forgot that they also needed to receive. And that would be for us like the biggest message we can send out there to our sisters, water signs. Balance yourselves. It's not about fixing everyone or everything. Just listen to yourself. And then, of course, we're going to need to share because that's a Kabbalistic concept. But everything has to come with the right measure. And that's, I think, what they really need to understand.
Absolutely. We used to talk about it in our videos. So what practical advices you can give women, and not only women, to the rest of humanity in water month? How to act the right way in the water month?
Okay, very good question, because sometimes, imagine like a sign of fire that enters a month of water, for example, yeah? Oh my God, like the whole fire is like drowning into the water. So one of the most important advice, these are the months that your soul needs to prevail. The months of water should be handled in a very soul fashion, not in a logical fashion, not in a fiery reactive fashion, in a very, very low-key soul fashion. Why low-key? Because we can't hear our soul distinctively. You see? The soul, it's the little, faint voice inside of us that is very, very difficult to listen to. The good news is when entering a water sign, that voice is a lot stronger. So for us, in water signs, all of us, what we should do is take a step back and start listening and writing what we hear, the voice of our soul. Write it down. Because it's going to tell us a lot of things. It's activated. It's louder. It's going to tell us a lot of things about who we are, about our real voice, about our real life meaning. So the water signs, whether it's Pisces, which is like universal love, or Cancer, which is family love, the love of the people around, or Scorpio, which is the love of conquering, the love of getting power and handling power properly. We need to listen to the messages concerning those particular topics in the 3 water months. How to handle power, how to handle our family, how to handle universal love, what can we do more of that. These are the message we receive during, all of us during the water months, and care should be taken to listen to that voice and write everything that we can. Also during those months, caution is very important. During the Pisces, it's easier because Pisces is considered a very positive month, a month where we, really draw joy. But Cancer month is a difficult month. Scorpio is a difficult month. So particularly for Cancer and Scorpio, the advice is caution, optimism, listening to the soul, making a plan, building ourselves soul-wise is the message of the cosmos.
It's very, very practical, and we'll do just that. We'll try to do just that. Usually women ask, which sign is best for me for the relationship, but I think we can do, the whole series of conversations about it, because it's not a very short topic. Right?
Absolutely.
So maybe let's leave it for a little bit later, but today you give us really, really good advice, and we look forward to finish Pisces and to go to Cancer. And
to Aries?
To next
water
sign.
Yes.
And then when we get to Aries, we're going to talk about fire signs. Okay, thank you so much again.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Thank you.
Спасибо всем огромное. Мы придем в месяц Овен и поговорим об огненных знаках. На сегодня мы закончили, и мы скоро с вами увидимся.